Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be comparing the traditional AR with the fixed front sight to the flat top. Okay, so what's the benefit of having a flat top? Okay, also known as a free floating barrel. Okay, the first and obvious benefit is that you've got this rail on top that where you basically you got more places to hang things. Okay, so you can put more stuff on the gun. The second benefit is that it's got a free-floating barrel, and the idea behind the free-floating barrel is that when you fire a rifle, the barrel has a natural flex to it. Okay, and the less things are connected to the barrel, the more it's going to naturally flex unhindered. Okay, so with the free-floating barrel, you only have two connection points. You've got one point back here where the barrel connects to the receiver, okay, and then you have another point where the gas tube enters the barrel. Okay, now with the traditional AR, you still got the connection point to the barrel back at the receiver. You still have the gas tube coming into the barrel, but then you've got the front post over here, which has at least two more connection points. So you have two additional connection points. You got 4 connection points instead of 2 connection points. So in theory, like I said, because you have more things connected to the barrel, those extra 2 connection points can interfere with the natural, flex of the barrel. Okay. Now, in reality, okay, practically speaking, okay, I was shooting this AR earlier. Okay, I was shooting at 110 yards with the red dot. So with the red dot at 110 yards, I basically get a 3-inch grouping. Okay. Now, at one point I had an 8-power scope on that rifle, okay, and basically that grouping came down to 2 inches at 110 yards. Okay. Now compare that to this one over here. Okay, the best grouping I've ever gotten with this AR is an 1.5 inches. Okay, and most of my groupings will come in at about 1 3/4 inches. Okay, so on average, I get a better grouping of 1/4 inch. Okay, but here's the thing though with this AR, there's other factors. Number one, there's an 18-inch barrel versus a 16-inch barrel. So there's an extra 2 inches on this barrel. Okay, it is a cold hammer forged barrel, which they say is supposed to be more accurate. I have no way of proving that, but that's what they say. But most important, this is the Ruger MPR. It has a 2-stage trigger, and basically in the final stage, basically the trigger squeeze is about 4 pounds. So this gun has a much lighter trigger squeeze than this, M&P 15 from Smith & Wesson. Okay, so I think that the lighter trigger squeeze and the longer barrel is more of a factor than whether or not the barrel is free floating or not. Okay, so there are my thoughts on that. Okay. Now let's talk about some other things. What are some of the benefits of having the fixed front sight? Okay. Well, I've talked with with a lot of combat veterans, and they've told me stories about when they're doing close quarter combat and they're moving through rooms, that front post is going to get hit a lot. Okay. And what happens because basically this is a lot tougher than the flip-up sights. Okay, so I had one guy told me that he accidentally closed the hydraulic door of a tank on that front post, and the gun was still zeroed in. Okay, so basically this is tougher. And what happens is if your red dot fails and if your rear flip sight falls off, okay, if you're anchoring to the same place on your shoulder and your cheek, okay, and you bring that gun up just using that front post within 30 yards, you'll be able to hit your target. Maybe not with the first shot, but if you put enough shots downrange, just with that front sight, you'll be able to to stop an incoming threat. Okay, now naturally that's a desperate measure because basically your gun is falling apart on you. But that front sight is going to it's pretty tough. It'll be there. Okay. By contrast, these flip sights, they're cool and all, but I mean, obviously, they can first of all they can just come off. Even if you Loctite them on, things can happen that these things can come loose. Okay, so that's one of the benefits of the fixed front sight. Now, a lot of times, as far as let's talk about putting things on your rifle, the things that you are most likely to put on your rifle is a red dot and a flashlight. Okay, and what I do with the with this traditional AR is, I bring the red dot back just a little bit. So instead of centering it right over the ejection port, I just pull it back just a little bit, and that gives me enough room to put a light that's offset. And that's where I like having my light, because at night what I find is that you do a lot more scanning and searching for your targets than actual shooting. So if I'm holding the gun out here, your arm gets tired as you're looking around. Whereas you hold it back here, almost rested on your shoulder, I can activate it with my thumb, and I can do a lot more searching like that, a lot more comfortably. Okay, so this is where I would put the light, even on this AR. Okay, if I was using this now, if I was to mount the light on this AR, I would bring it back here rather than put it out there anyway. Okay, because that's what makes sense to me. That's what's practical for night shooting. Now, in the event that you want to use, that you do want your light further up, you could just basically put a quad rail. Basically, this plastic, comes off, and basically you can mount a quad rail over there, and then you can have your light further up. If that's really where your light needs to be. Okay. So the reason why I mention all these things, because a lot of times people will have these ARs with the fixed front sight, and they'll talk about cutting it off and basically converting it into a flat top. And what I tell them is that, listen, this is not going to be your last AR, that you ever own. You're going to buy 2 ARs, 3 ARs, before you know it, you'll have 10 ARs. Just because it's such great guns. So keep this AR the way it is, and basically the next AR, you just get a flat top. I mean, they're cheap enough. I mean, even this, this MPR over here, this Ruger MPR, with the floating, with the cold hammer forged 18-inch barrel. It came with this nice stock. I mean, it's a $620 gun. Okay, these guys here, you buy them for like $500 now. These other ones, the Smith & Wessons. You get them for $500, $550. So it's not worth the trouble of trying to convert the gun into something else. Just work with it, get good with it, and then, a couple of months later or a year later, you just buy another one. Okay, and play with that one for a while. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.